All right, we're up, fellas. Sorry I was gone last week, but we're back. We're gonna get right into these matchups, and my cat's gonna be joining us as well because she's extremely vocal right now. Say hi to everybody. Say hi. There you go. Okay, so first matchup, like I said, we're gonna get right into it. Me against Alex. I lost. Okay. Going on to the next matchup is I'm just fucking with you guys. All props to Alex. He had a great fucking team this week. Carried by two guys, Josh Allen with 48 points and Christian fucking McCaffrey with 49. Fun little fact: Alex has the two highest scoring players in our league right now with Josh Allen and Christian McCaffrey. Season long so far through 4 weeks, they're the two top scoring players. You're not gonna lose a lot of games when that happens. Even when you have Debo Samuel put up 0.6 points and your flex put up 0, with your kicker putting up 1. Alex should have realistically kicked my ass even more. I did leave some points on the bench with Anthony Richardson. I didn't like that matchup, and I thought Jared Goff versus Green Bay was going to be a better one, and it wasn't. I actually kind of liked my team overall, but they just didn't perform. I left some points on the bench, 33 and 18 right there. But Alex also left a lot of points on the bench as well. He probably could have hit maybe like 160, 170. With Brian Robinson hitting 12, Isaiah Pacheco putting up 27, Chris Godwin putting up 19, Christian Kirk. Like you replace these less than 3 points right here with 20, and you're looking at almost 32 points right there, roughly. But so Alex ran away with it. Alex is the last remaining undefeated team in this league. He will be taking over the #1 spot. And when you're the last remaining undefeated, people are going to be coming after you, Alex. So that was a great game. You kicked my ass with both of those players, dude. Can't say anything about it. When you lose to two people that put up essentially 100 points, that's hard. But it is what it is, man. Congrats, you earned it. You're killing this league right now, man. Keep doing what you're doing. We're gonna get into the next matchup: Pirate Ship versus Boodle Bart. Juan versus Orlando, and Juan squeaking out the win. That's relatively close, about a 9-point victory by Juan, and yeah, he was kind of rubbing it into Orlando earlier today. So that was a good matchup. Jalen Hurts coming through with massive 32 points, which is actually kind of crazy because it's mostly coming with the extra bonus of the 3 points for over 300. He didn't get a rushing touchdown, and that's generally what he does. But it was a tight matchup against Washington. That was kind of a close one. And then potentially the waiver wire pickup of the year is Puka Nakua, putting up 30 points. This dude is 163. I didn't realize that. This dude is fucking Cooper Kupp Jr. And the funny thing is, he's actually getting mentored by Cooper Kupp right now on that team. Juan's team was led by those two guys. Everyone else was kind of steady and about hit their mark or was relatively close. Orlando was led by Justin Herbert. I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now, but he only threw 167, and it was just an ugly game against Vegas. So that's kind of down on it. Josh Jacobs actually finally kind of showed out a little bit with 23 points. So I mean, that's a good pickup. I think I traded Josh Jacobs to Orlando. So that's a good turnaround. Tyreek Hill, I mean, if he even shows up, if he gets a touchdown, 15-yard touchdown with a catch, I mean, I think that's the win. So Tyreek, that was a hard one. You expect way more out of Tyreek, but unfortunately, everyone else kind of was average. Your kicker did really well, and that negative defense. Houston is kind of looking like the real deal with CJ Stroud at quarterback. It's pretty interesting. I think if he kind of switched out some of his players, let's see, if you put in Jacksonville, yep, there's your win right there, Jacksonville. And maybe Juan actually would have won by more if he threw in Herbert. Little side note: Denver's defense looks absolutely fucking terrible this year. So if you have any players going up against Denver, do not be afraid to play them, even if the matchup says it's not that great. I would say otherwise. But congrats to Juan for the win, coming in at 2-2 for the new standings, and Orlando dropping down to 1-3. You still got time, man. It's a 6 league playoff schedule, so all you need to be is top 6. So keep fighting. All you need to do is get in. Shit happens. We're going on to the next one, and Tony getting his first win of the season over Ryan and his stacked fucking team, the self-proclaimed best team in the league. Tony put a beating on him. Looking over at Ryan, Lamar Jackson did his thing. Didn't really throw too much, but I mean, Cleveland's defense did not look good at that game, and he just didn't need to throw. Even though you got 32 points out of it, I mean, it's just crazy. 2 rushing touchdowns. I mean, you're thrilled with that. Jamar Chase is something's going on with Cincy's offense, man. I just don't know what it is, and I don't like it. Joe Burrow looks terrible. Other than that, Ryan's team actually kind of evened out a little bit. I mean, you expect a little bit more out of Gibbs, but I mean, it happens. Kelsey kind of underperformed. It was an ugly game against the Jets. Like, the Jets kind of, whenever the Jets play Kansas City, they kind of go for them. And Zach Moss kind of didn't really hit. But looking at the positives for Tony, Dak Prescott, I mean, he hasn't really performed throughout the year, but he hasn't needed to. Their defense is doing everything for them. Stephon Diggs, massive fucking game, 3 touchdowns. Gabe Davis coming through with the touchdown. I have Gabe Davis in 2 of my other leagues. So that's a good one. And then Kyren Williams going into what I was saying about Puka Nacua, potentially waiver wire pickup of the year, and how ironic it is that it's potentially one of 2 Rams. These guys were undrafted. You telling me that 2 undrafted Rams players in our league is going to be the waiver wire pickups of the year? I would say you're fucking crazy. And then Dameon Pierce kind of coming through. This is where Tony won right here. Stephon Diggs and Kyren Williams. Those are big games. George Kittle, you expect way more out of them, but they didn't need him versus Arizona. T. Higgins, this is going exactly to what I was saying about Cincy with Jamar Chase. I do not like their offense right now. And it looks like Ryan left some points on the bench. Nico Collins, I said something special about CJ Stroud in Houston, and this is one of the reasons why. Nico Collins is showing out to be a very solid wide receiver. And then Josh Jacobs versus Arizona, 27 points on your bench. Tony should have won by more. About another 10 points on top of that. If Nico Collins stayed right there, that'd be a lot closer. But it happens. Tony, you're missing. You got an empty bench spot, man. You can pick someone up if you want off the waivers this year. But Ryan going to 2-2, and then Tony hitting that win mark, getting that 1-3. But like I said, remember, it's a long season. Top 6 teams. That's all you need to get in. Going down to our next matchup. Robert versus Travis. And Travis, I said this a while ago, Travis has a very strong team, and it definitely showed out. Patrick Mahomes kind of heavily underperformed, but it was just a bad game against the Jets. Like I said, they come for them. Derrick Henry, maybe his best game of the year so far. Getting that passing and rushing touchdown with those massive yards that you're kind of expecting Derrick Henry in the past seasons to do. And then, of course, Travis's team is rallied up anchored by Dallas's defense. So every game, Dallas's defense is going to do some shit, but hopefully not next weekend against my Niners. Robert's team he missed his mark. Well, he went over his mark, which is good. It was kind of balanced all the way through. I mean, you expect a little bit more out of Ramondre Stevenson. That's just going up against the Dallas defense. So, I mean, consider that. Don't freak out. I mean, he's going to bounce back. That's not a problem. Mark Andrews, 22 points. Look, Mark Andrews might be a top tight end on the year. And then Baltimore's defense against Cleveland, that was really solid. But unfortunately, you just kind of went up against the top defense of the year. And then Derrick Henry. And then just even across the board up here. It's a closer matchup than what the score actually shows. Wow, 18 points out of the kicker, Jake Elliott. That's crazy. That's really solid. So that really helped on the win for Travis. But good game. Roberts breaking out at 2-2 at the end of this season. At the end of this week. Travis going up to 3-1. So Travis is going to be going up the leaderboard a little bit, maybe up to third, depending on how the stuff falls. And then Robert's probably going to plateau around that same area, around fifth. And then going down to our last matchup of the year, Jonathan getting his first win against Roman. Roman's team started off very well this year and is kind of started to plateau a little bit. Unfortunately, just things aren't coming through. I mean, Kirk Cousins, when Minnesota is losing, he plays way better. So you kind of don't want Minnesota to win in that aspect because you want Kirk Cousins to throw for it. He's got that double stack right there with Justin Jefferson with the #1 overall pick right there. Maybe you should draft Christian McCaffrey the way that boy's playing lately. But I mean, honestly, I don't blame you if you're going Jefferson. Dude's great. They just need to figure out their offense a little bit. Jalen Waddle just didn't really hit. That was a rough Buffalo defense, and I think Buffalo's defense put up a shit ton of points. Najee Harris hit his points. Aaron Jones, I don't know what the fuck went on with that game with Green Bay's rushing. It was not good. Brandon Ayuk coming back from his injury, playing against a weak Arizona secondary, definitely put up 148. Yeah, you kind of wish you got a touchdown out of that just to kind of get that little boost, but it didn't happen. This is actually a close matchup, only by 10 points. But shout out Jonathan getting his first win of the year, going up to 1-3 going into the new week. Spearheaded by Russell Wilson, who clutched that game. Like, they were getting their shit beat, and Russell Wilson just completely turned it around. Chicago is AJ Brown, finally AJ Brown having his game. 2 reception touchdowns and 175 yards. He finally fucking turned it around. This is the AJ Brown that you were expecting when you draft him in the middle of the first round. Chris Olave I'll tell you this much. Chris Olave is a considerably better receiver than 1 reception for 4 yards. This right here is purely based on Derek Carr, and Derek Carr looked fucking terrible that game. So that's hard right there. That hurts a lot. But if Derek Carr can at least play competent football, then you're going to be in a great spot with Chris Olave moving forward. Bijan Robinson, one of the top running backs in the league as a rookie, and he's definitely showing. He didn't even score a touchdown, but I mean, you're getting 20 points without a touchdown. That shows how fucking good you are. Raheem Mostert, he just fumbled. He lost like 3 fumbles. It shows 1. I think it was 2 actually, and it's just not showing in the stats. Devon Achane kind of covered everything else for the running game, but they were trying to throw to keep into the game. TJ Hawkinson didn't really hit. I think tight ends were kind of like really bad, except for like 2 or 3 guys in the league. And Joshua Palmer, literally breaking even. Defenses were pretty bad on both ends. If you told me San Francisco's defense only put 2 points against Arizona, they didn't get any interceptions. They didn't get any turnovers. I think like 1 sack. That's it. So they ended up playing like a prevent defense, like all of the fourth quarter. Hence why they didn't really put too much pressure. But taking a look at the bench, Roman, that's your win. That's your win right there. David Montgomery. Who would have fucking expected that? It's like his best game of his career. Who would have expected it? All of them go to Montgomery. And I had their other running back in one of my other leagues, and I'm just fucking pissed just watching it. Like, dude, just give him 1, man. Just give him 1. But he couldn't get shit going, and they didn't give him any run. Like I said, going back to the Cincinnati offense, it looks really bad, and I'm worried about it. 4 points for Joe Burrow. Thank God you didn't fucking play him. And it's crazy to say that you would rather have like Kirk Cousins over Joe Burrow, but he just looks terrible. And unfortunately, you might have to just keep him on the bench until he turns it around. That's crazy. Jordan Love playing pretty decent football. That's a good matchup. That was a good game for him. And then Romeo Doubs. I mean, you got that Green Bay stack right there. If Jordan Love has a good game, it's going to reflect in his wide receivers, mainly his wide receivers. You little tip right here. If this guy's injured, you might want to consider finding someone. But it is what are you doing? Okay, she's done with me. She doesn't give a fuck anymore. But that's gonna be the matchups. Everybody, congrats to everybody that won. I know. Congrats to everyone that won. It's gonna be a good week. I think we got some good matchups coming up for week 5. Let's take a quick look real fast. Just a little peek skis. Very low scoring. It looks like we're getting into the waivers. Not the waivers, the bye weeks. It looks like bye weeks are officially starting in week 5, and it's starting to reflect in the games. I know I'm gonna have to make some adjustments. Orlando sitting at less than 60 points just on his early projections. So I guarantee he has like 2 or 3 guys, massive guys, that are out right now. But fix those lineups, get your players in, and everything's gonna be fine. Get these numbers up. I mean, that's all you can do. Just set the best lineup as you can, and it should go pretty well overall. But like I said, congrats to everyone of the week for winning. These standings are going to be changing overnight, so go ahead and take a look. All I know is for a fact is Oso's taking over the #1 spot at 4-0. So shout out Oso, great game. And that's going to be it, fellas. I'm going to be wrapping this up, and I'll get this video out to you guys. Have a good week.